Tyler Grant stood in the middle of Port Helion's scrapyard, staring at the worst purchase of his life. The Vrelian transport sat crooked on its landing struts, hull plates black with scorch marks, one entire engine housing missing its outer shell. He had just spent his last 3,000 credits on this piece of junk. She flies, right? Tyler called out to the Quellen dealer who was already walking away. The dealer waved one of his tentacle arms without looking back. Started her yesterday. Mostly. That word would haunt Tyler later. He walked up the access ramp, which made a horrible groaning sound under his boots. Inside, the ship smelled like burned wiring and old chemicals. This was not how he imagined restarting his career. 3 weeks ago, Tyler had owned a decent little freighter. Not fancy, but it worked. Then the debt collectors came and took it. Now he was broke, desperate, and standing inside what might be the ugliest Starship in the entire station. But without a ship, he could not haul cargo. Without cargo runs, he could not earn money. It was this wreck or nothing. The cockpit was a disaster. Half the control panels were dark. Wires hung loose from open access ports. Tyler sat in the pilot's seat and tested the controls. Some worked. Some did not. He pulled out his data pad and started making a list of everything that needed fixing. The list got longer and longer. Navigation computer from 40 years ago. Life support running at 60%. Communication system held together with tape. But the main engine seemed okay. The hull was solid enough. With a lot of work, Tyler could make this thing fly. His father always said he was good at fixing broken things. Too bad his father was not here to see just how broken this thing was. Tyler spent the next hour walking through the cargo holds. All empty. Dirty but empty. He checked the bulkheads for damage. Tested the environmental seals. Looked for leaks in the fuel lines. Everything seemed normal for an old, beaten-up transport. Then he heard it. Tyler stopped walking. He held his breath and listened. There it was again. A sound that made his skin go cold. Someone was crying. A child was crying. At first, he thought he was imagining things. Ships made weird noises when they settled. Metal groaned. Pipes hissed. But this was different. This was definitely a person. A scared person. Tyler followed the sound to the back of the cargo section. It seemed to be coming from inside the wall itself. He pulled up the ship's blueprints on his data pad. According to the official plans, there was nothing behind this bulkhead. Just solid metal. But the crying was real. And it was coming from behind that wall. Tyler ran back to his toolkit and grabbed his portable scanner. He ran it along the bulkhead looking for anything unusual. The scanner beeped. There was a hollow space behind the metal. A space that was not supposed to exist. His heart started pounding. Tyler grabbed his cutting torch and fired it up. The blue flame bit into the metal, sending bright sparks everywhere. It took 20 minutes to cut through the reinforced panel. When it finally fell away with a crash, Tyler shined his light into the darkness. A small face looked back at him. Wide eyes. Terrified expression. "Hey," Tyler said softly, holding up his hands. "Hey, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you." The child was Catherine. Tyler recognized the feline features, the distinctive markings of the species from the inner colonies. She looked young. Maybe 8 or 9 years old if he was guessing right. She was curled up in a tiny space barely big enough for her to sit in. Empty food packets and water bottles were scattered around her. "Please," the girl whispered in broken galactic standard. "Please don't put me back." Tyler felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. "Put you back where?" "No, listen. I just bought this ship. I didn't know anyone was in here. How long have you been trapped?" The girl's lip trembled. 3 days. Maybe 4. The ship stopped moving. Everyone left. I thought no one would ever find me. Tyler climbed through the hole he had cut, moving very slowly so he would not scare her. Up close he could see how bad she looked. Her skin was too dry. Her eyes looked wrong, unfocused. She needed water. She needed help. "What's your name?" Tyler asked gently. "Sarah." "I'm Tyler. We need to get you out of here. Can you stand up?" Sarah tried to get to her feet but her legs gave out. Tyler caught her before she fell. She was so light. Too light. Even for a Catherine child, she should weigh more than this. How long had she really been trapped in there? "Okay, I've got you," Tyler said, picking her up carefully. "We're going to get you to a doctor." "No." Sarah grabbed his jacket with surprising strength. "No stations. The smugglers have people everywhere. In security. In the port offices. They'll find me again." Tyler felt something cold settle in his chest. Smugglers. This was not an accident. Someone had put this child in a hidden compartment. Someone had transported her somewhere. And when things went wrong, they just abandoned the ship and left her to die. All right, Tyler said quietly. No station doctors. I know someone who won't ask questions. But Sarah, you have to trust me. Can you do that? She looked at his face for a long time. Then she nodded slowly. Tyler carried her through the ship, his mind racing. He had come to this scrapyard looking for a cheap transport. Something to get him back to work. Instead, he found a child who had been stuffed in a wall and left to die. The smart thing would be to call the authorities. Let them handle it. But Sarah's fear was real. If the smugglers really had people inside station security, calling for help might get her killed. Tyler had never been good at doing the smart thing when someone needed help. It was a problem he had his whole life. He took Sarah to a clinic in the lower levels of Port Helion. The kind of place where the lights flickered and nobody asked your business. Dr. Yenna took one look at the child and brought them inside immediately. Severe dehydration, Yenna said after examining Sarah. Malnutrition. She needs rest and fluids. At least 2 days. Can she stay here? Tyler asked. Yenna looked at him with her multiple eyes. Can you pay? Tyler checked his credits. He had 400 left after buying the ship. 200 now. 200 next week when I finish a cargo run. Fine. But Tyler, this child was hidden. Someone bad is looking for her. I know. Then you better figure out what you're doing. Because they will come. While Sarah slept under Yenna's care, Tyler went back to his ship. He stared at the hidden compartment. Why was it there? What else was this ship hiding? Tyler spent the next 6 hours digging through the ship's computer systems. Most of the files were deleted. But Tyler knew how to recover deleted data. Humans were stubborn like that. They never believed information was truly gone forever. Finally, he broke through the encryption. What he found made him sick. The ship's logs showed dozens of entries. Each one was a child. Ages, species, where they came from. Sarah was number 47. There had been 46 children before her. 46 other kids who had been taken, moved, sold. Financial records showed payments to accounts across multiple star systems. Messages talked about packages and deliveries. One message from 2 weeks ago mentioned a problem with the Port Helion run. It said to dump the cargo and abandon the ship. They had meant to kill Sarah. When their operation got too dangerous, they decided she was easier to throw away than protect. Tyler sat in the pilot's chair, staring at the evidence on the screen. This was bigger than one lost child. This was an organization that had been stealing children for years. His communicator beeped. A message from Yenna said Sarah was awake and asking for him. Tyler found her sitting up in bed, holding a cup of warm broth. She looked better already. When she saw him, she smiled a little. You came back, she said. Of course I came back. Tyler pulled up a chair next to her bed. Sarah, I need to ask you something. Where is your family? Where is your home? Her smile disappeared. I was home. In the garden. Then men came. They put something over my face. When I woke up, I was in a cage with other children. They moved us from ship to ship. Said they were taking us somewhere safe. But I heard them talking. About selling us. I tried to run away and they locked me in that little room. Said I would stay there until I learned to behave. Tyler felt anger burning in his chest. The kind of anger that made everything else disappear. Did they say any names? Just the leader. Corin. He was Zenti. He had scales on his face. Everyone was scared of him. Tyler memorized the name. Sarah, I'm going to get you home. Your family is probably looking for you right now. Tears filled Sarah's eyes. Really? They didn't sell me? No. People who love you don't sell you. The smugglers lied to scare you. Your family wants you back. It was a promise Tyler had no business making. He did not know how to find Kethran families. He barely had a working ship. But looking at this child who had been betrayed by everyone, Tyler could not say anything else. Dr. Yenna appeared at the door. Tyler. We have a problem. They stepped into the hallway. Yenna looked worried. Someone is asking questions. About a Vrelian transport. About who bought it. Already? Tyler felt panic rising. How do they know? The ship probably has a tracker. When you powered it up, they knew someone was aboard. Yenna crossed her arms. You need to leave tonight. Get far away from here. Tyler looked back at Sarah through the doorway. She was watching them with frightened eyes. She knew something was wrong. He had come here for a fresh start. A simple life hauling cargo. Instead, he had bought a target and made a promise he might not be able to keep. But Tyler Grant had never walked away from someone who needed him. Even when walking away was the smart choice. It was the most human thing about him. For hours, Tyler said. I'll get the ship ready. He had 4 hours to make a wreck into something that could fly. 4 hours before the people who stole children came looking for their lost property. Tyler ran back to his ship. Time to find out if human stubbornness could beat impossible odds. Tyler worked fast. His hands moved across the ship's control panels, rerouting power, bypassing damaged systems. Sparks flew from an exposed wire and he cursed, wrapping it quickly with insulation tape. The ship was a mess, but it had to fly. It had to fly now. In the passenger compartment behind him, Sierra sat strapped into a seat, clutching a small medical kit Dr. Yenna had given her. Her eyes were wide, watching Tyler work. She had not said much since they left the clinic 2 hours ago. She did not need to. They both knew people were coming. Tyler's communicator buzzed. A message from his contact at the Port Authority. Just 2 words, "They're here." His stomach dropped. He had hoped for more time. Just a few more hours to get the engines running properly, to plot a safe course, to figure out what he was actually doing. But time had run out. "Sierra, hold on tight," Tyler said, sliding into the pilot's seat. "This is going to be rough." He fired up the engines. They coughed, sputtered, then roared to life with a sound that made the whole ship shake. One of the thrust indicators was flashing red. Tyler ignored it. He requested launch clearance from the port control tower. "Negative on clearance," the tower responded. "Your vessel hasn't completed safety inspection. You need to." Tyler cut the communication and punched the throttle. The ship lurched upward, rising from the landing pad on columns of blue fire. Alarms blared from the control panel. The tower was shouting something about unauthorized launch and security protocols. Tyler did not care. He pointed the nose toward open space and pushed the engines harder. Behind him, Sierra made a small sound of fear as the G-forces pressed her back into the seat. Tyler glanced at the rear sensors. 3 ships were powering up at the landing pads below. Fast interceptors. Expensive ones. The kind that bounty hunters used. Come on, Tyler muttered, watching the speed indicator climb. The old Vrelian transport was not built for racing. It was built for carrying cargo slowly and reliably. But Tyler was pushing it far beyond its design limits. They cleared the station's traffic control zone. Tyler immediately banked hard to the right, diving toward a nearby asteroid field. It was a dangerous move. One collision at this speed would tear the ship apart. But the interceptors were faster in open space. The asteroids were his only chance. The first rocks appeared on the scanner. Tyler wove between them, using manual controls instead of the autopilot. His father had taught him to fly like this back when Tyler was just a kid. "Feel the ship," his father had said. "Don't just watch the screens. Feel how she moves." An interceptor appeared on his tail, closing fast. "Weapons lock warning" shrieked from the console. Tyler yanked the control stick left, sliding behind a tumbling asteroid the size of a building. The interceptor fired. The shot went wide, vaporizing a chunk of rock that exploded into debris. "Why are they shooting at us?" Sierra cried out. "Because I have something they want," Tyler said, pulling the ship into a tight spiral around another asteroid. "And they don't care who gets hurt taking it back." More weapons fire lit up the space around them. Tyler dove deeper into the asteroid field, going places no sane pilot would fly. The interceptors followed, but they were struggling. Their ships were designed for speed and firepower, not for threading through tight spaces at high velocity. Tyler's hands were sweating on the controls. A proximity alarm screamed as he passed within meters of a spinning rock. The ship's shield sparked as smaller debris pinged off the hull. One of the interceptors was not as lucky. Tyler heard the explosion through the sensors, saw the flash of light behind them. 1 down. 2 still coming. He needed to jump to hyperspace. Get far away from here. But the hyperspace drive needed time to charge and calculate a safe route. Time he did not have while dodging asteroids and weapons fire. "Tyler," Sierra said quietly. "I'm scared." "Me too," Tyler admitted. "But we're going to make it. I promise." It was another promise he had no right to make. But something about this child made him want to believe impossible things. The asteroids began to thin out as they reached the edge of the field. Tyler checked his scanners. The 2 remaining interceptors were still behind them, and now they had clear shots. He rerouted all available power to the rear shields just as the first blast hit. The ship rocked. Lights flickered. The hyperspace drive indicator finally turned green. Coordinates locked. Tyler's finger hovered over the activation button. 1 more second and they would be gone, safe in hyperspace where the interceptors could not follow. Then the second interceptor fired. The blast struck the port engine. Alarms shrieked. Fire warnings lit up the board. The ship started spinning out of control. Tyler fought the controls, using the maneuvering thrusters to stabilize their rotation. Smoke filled the cockpit. Through the chaos, he could see the hyperspace indicator flickering between green and red. The damaged engine was interfering with the drive calculations. "Come on," Tyler growled. "Work. Just work." The interceptors were closing for the kill. Tyler could see them on the view screen now, sleek deadly shapes against the stars. They were taking their time, lining up shots that would disable the ship completely without destroying it. They wanted Sierra alive. They wanted their cargo intact. That gave Tyler an idea. A stupid, desperate idea. He shut down the damaged port engine completely. The ship immediately started listing to one side. Tyler let it drift, making it look like he had lost control. The interceptors slowed down, moving into position to capture the seemingly crippled vessel. Tyler waited. His hand was on the hyperspace activation button. The drive was still flickering, still trying to calculate through the interference. He just needed a few more seconds. Just a few more seconds while the interceptors thought they had won. One of them moved alongside, close enough that Tyler could see the pilot through the cockpit canopy. The bounty hunter was smiling, probably already counting his payment for recovering the lost cargo. The hyperspace indicator turned solid green. Tyler slammed the activation button. Reality twisted. The stars stretched into lines. The interceptors vanished as the ship punched through into hyperspace, leaving them behind in normal space. Then everything went quiet. The alarms stopped. The shaking stopped. They were flying through the strange blue-white void of hyperspace, safe for the moment. Tyler let out a breath he did not know he had been holding. His hands were shaking. His heart was pounding so hard he could feel it in his throat. "Are we safe now?" Sarah asked. Tyler looked back at her. She was still strapped in tight, still holding the medical kit like it was the most precious thing in the world. "For now," he said. "We're safe for now." He checked the navigation computer. The automatic systems had plotted a course based on his last input before the fight started. They were heading toward the outer trade lanes, several jumps away from Port Helion. Good. That would give him time to think. Time to plan. Tyler pulled up the data he had stolen from the ship's logs before they left. The information about the smuggling ring. The list of children. The financial records. Everything. He could sell this information. There were people who would pay a fortune for it. Governments. Rival criminal organizations. Even legitimate law enforcement might offer a reward. With that money, Tyler could buy a new ship. A good ship. He could pay off all his debts and start fresh. All he had to do was drop Sierra at the nearest station and walk away. Tyler looked at the child again. She had fallen asleep in her seat, exhausted from fear and adrenaline. She trusted him. She believed he would keep his promise to take her home. Tyler closed the data files and opened a star chart instead. He started plotting a route to Catherine Space. It would take multiple jumps. The ship was damaged and would need repairs. They would have to stop at stations where someone might recognize them. It was going to be dangerous and difficult and probably stupid. But Tyler had never been good at choosing the easy path when someone needed him. His communicator buzzed. Another message from his contact at Port Helion. This one was longer. It said the bounty hunters had put out a system-wide alert. Big reward for the ship and its passenger. Every port, every station, every independent trader would be looking for them now. Tyler deleted the message. He finished plotting the course to Catherine Space and locked it into the navigation computer. 6 jumps. Maybe 7 if they had to take detours. Each jump would bring new dangers. Each stop would be a risk. But that was fine. Tyler had faced bad odds before. And this time he was not doing it for money or glory or any of the usual reasons. This time he was doing it because a scared child needed someone to keep a promise. The ship hummed through hyperspace. The damaged engine was making concerning noises, but it was holding together. For now. Tyler started making a mental list of repairs he would need to do at their first stop. Patch the hull damage. Replace the burned power couplings. Maybe upgrade the shields if he could find the credits. Sierra stirred in her sleep, mumbling something in her native language. Tyler wondered what her family was like. Were they looking for her? Did they know she was still alive? How would they react when a broke human freight hauler showed up with their lost daughter? Questions for later. Right now, Tyler needed to focus on keeping them both alive long enough to find out. He checked the sensors one more time. No pursuit. No threats. Just the endless strange beauty of hyperspace surrounding them. They had escaped. For now. Tyler allowed himself a small smile. Maybe human stubbornness really could beat impossible odds. At least for today. The ship flew on through the void, carrying a man who had lost everything and a child who had lost even more, both heading toward an uncertain future. But heading there together. And somehow that made all the difference. The ship dropped out of hyperspace with a violent shudder. Warning lights flashed across every panel in the cockpit. Tyler's hands flew over the controls, trying to stabilize their entry into the Meridian system. The port engine was failing. He could hear it grinding and whining through the hull. "Where are we?" Sierra asked from the co-pilot seat. Tyler had moved her there 3 days ago, started teaching her the basics. She was a quick learner. Faster than most adults he had trained. "Meridian Outpost," Tyler said, wrestling with the control stick. "We need fuel and repairs. This engine won't make another jump." He guided the limping ship toward the small station that orbited a dead moon. It was not much to look at. Just a refueling depot and a few repair bays. The kind of place that asked no questions as long as your credits were good. Tyler hoped his credits would be good enough. They had been running for 5 days. 5 days of jumping from system to system, always looking over their shoulder. The bounty hunters had found them twice. Once at a mining colony where Tyler had to abandon half their supplies to escape. Once in deep space where only a desperate dive into a comet's tail had saved them. Tyler was exhausted. His eyes burned from staring at sensors. His back ached from sleeping in the pilot's chair. But they were still alive. Still free. Still moving toward Kethrin space. The station granted them docking permission. Tyler brought the ship in carefully, the damaged engine sputtering and coughing. When they finally settled on the landing pad, he shut down all systems and sat back with a sigh. "Stay close to me," he told Sierra. "Don't talk to anyone. Don't look at anyone too long." She nodded. She had learned to be invisible over the past few days. It broke Tyler's heart how good she was at it. They walked through the station together. Tyler kept his hand near the small plasma pistol he had bought at their last stop. The corridors were crowded with traders, miners, and people who looked like they were running from something. Good. That meant they would blend in. Tyler found the station manager in a grimy office that smelled like machine oil. The manager was a Taurisian, all scales and cold eyes. He looked Tyler up and down, then glanced at Sierra with obvious suspicion. "Need fuel and engine repairs," Tyler said. "How much?" The Taurisian tapped at a screen. 1,500 credits. Plus docking fees. Tyler felt his stomach drop. He had maybe 800 credits left. "I can pay 1,000. That's all I have." "Then you don't get full repairs." The Taurisian smiled, showing too many teeth. "Maybe you get enough fuel to make one more jump." "Maybe." Tyler was about to argue when he noticed the Taurixian's eyes kept flicking to a screen on his desk. A screen Tyler could not see. Something was wrong. "Fine," Tyler said. 1,000. "We'll take what we can get." He transferred the credits and they left quickly. As they walked back toward the ship, Tyler felt eyes on them. Too many eyes. People were watching them, whispering to each other. "Tyler," Sierra whispered. "Something's wrong." "I know. Walk normal. Don't run." They were halfway back to their docking bay when Tyler saw them. 3 men blocking the corridor ahead. Big men with weapons. Behind them, Tyler heard footsteps. More people cutting off their escape. Well, one of the men said. "Tyler Grant and the lost little kitten. There's a nice reward for bringing you in." Tyler pushed Sierra behind him. "How much are they paying you?" 20,000 for the girl. 10,000 for you. Dead or alive, they don't care which." Tyler's mind raced. 30,000 credits. That was more than most of these people would make in 5 years. Every hunter, smuggler, and criminal in 3 systems would be looking for that payday. "You don't want to do this," Tyler said, his hand moving slowly toward his pistol. The man laughed. "Yeah, I really do." Everything happened fast. The man reached for his weapon. Tyler drew faster, fired twice. The plasma bolts hit the man in the chest and he went down. The other 2 scattered, returning fire. Tyler grabbed Sierra and ran the other direction, back toward the main corridor. Alarms started blaring. Emergency bulkheads began closing. Tyler slid under one just before it slammed shut, pulling Sierra through behind him. Plasma fire scorched the walls around them. They ran through the station, Tyler choosing paths randomly, trying to lose their pursuers. But more hunters were joining the chase. Word had spread fast. Everyone wanted that bounty. Tyler's communicator buzzed. A message from the station authority: "Surrender peacefully or we will open your ship to vacuum and take you by force." They had to get back to the ship. Had to escape before the whole station turned against them. Tyler pulled Sierra into a maintenance shaft, climbing down through the narrow space. His shoulder scraped against metal. Old injuries from his days working salvage operations protested. They emerged near their docking bay. Tyler could see their ship through the window. So close. But there were 4 armed guards standing between them and the airlock. "Stay here," Tyler told Sierra. "No. I'm not leaving you. I'll come back. I promise. Just hide and wait for my signal." Before she could argue, Tyler stepped out into the open. The guards saw him immediately, raise their weapons. Tyler raised his hands. "I'll surrender," he called out. "Just let the girl go. She's innocent in all this." The guards moved toward him. Tyler waited until they were close. Then he dove sideways, grabbing a fire suppression control and yanking it. White foam exploded from the ceiling, filling the corridor. The guards shouted, blinded by the sudden cloud. Tyler ran through the foam, his pistol out. He fired at shapes in the white mist. Someone screamed. Someone else cursed. Tyler kept moving, reached the airlock, slammed his hand on the control panel. "Sierra? Now." She appeared from her hiding spot and sprinted toward him. Tyler provided covering fire as she ran. A plasma bolt hit him in the side and he grunted in pain, stumbled. But he stayed on his feet, kept firing until Sierra was through the airlock. They sealed the door behind them and ran into the ship. Tyler could barely move his right arm. Pain radiated from his side where the plasma bolt had grazed him. But he made it to the cockpit, dropped into the pilot's seat. "Strap in," he gasped. The engine fired up with a sound that made Tyler wince. It was worse than before. Much worse. But it was running. He pulled the ship up off the landing pad just as more guards appeared, firing at them. The ship lurched into space. Tyler's vision was getting blurry. Blood soaked through his shirt. He needed to make the jump to hyperspace, but his hands would not work right. "Tyler?" Sierra's voice sounded far away. "Tyler, you're hurt bad. Have to jump?" Tyler fumbled with the controls. His fingers would not grip properly. The pain was too much. "Let me do it." Sierra unbuckled and moved to his side. "Tell me what to do." Through the haze of pain, Tyler walked her through it. "Enter the coordinates. Engage the hyperspace drive. Wait for the calculation to finish." His voice sounded strange in his own ears, distant and weak. Sierra's small hands moved across the controls, doing exactly what he said. She was scared, he could hear it in her breathing. But she did not panic. She focused on each step just like he had taught her. Ships were appearing on the sensors. More bounty hunters launching from the station. They had maybe 30 seconds before those ships got close enough to disable them. "Ready?" Sierra asked. "Do it," Tyler whispered. She pressed the activation button. The stars stretched. Reality twisted. The ship jumped into hyperspace, leaving the hunters behind. Tyler slumped back in his seat. The pain was intense, but they were safe. For now. Sierra was pulling the medical kit from storage, trying to treat his wound with shaking hands. "You did good," Tyler managed to say. "Really good." "Don't die," Sierra said, tears streaming down her face. "Please don't die. You promised to get me home." Tyler smiled despite the pain. "Not dying. Just need to rest." He showed her how to engage the autopilot, how to monitor their course. The ship would fly itself for the next 12 hours while the hyperspace drive recharged. That would give him time to heal. Time to think about their next move. As the medical foam sealed his wound and the painkillers kicked in, Tyler's last thought before unconsciousness was that they were getting close. 2 more jumps to Catherine's space. 2 more chances for something to go wrong. But Sierra had flown the ship. She had saved them both. Maybe that meant they would make it after all. Maybe human stubbornness and a child's courage were enough to beat the galaxy's worst people. Tyler hoped so. He really hoped so. The engine died with a sound like breaking glass. Tyler stared at the control panel as every light turned red, one by one. They were drifting now, powerless, at the very edge of Catherine's space. So close to safety. So impossibly far. "Is it bad?" Sierra asked from the co-pilot seat. Tyler did not answer right away. He tried rerouting power from life support. Nothing. He tried the emergency backup systems. Also nothing. The old Vrelian hauler had finally given everything it had. They were dead in space. "Yeah," Tyler said quietly. "It's bad." Through the view screen he could see the massive orange sphere of a gas giant filling half the sky. They were caught in its gravity well, drifting slowly toward it. Without engines they could not escape. Eventually they would fall into that crushing atmosphere and be torn apart. Tyler checked their position. They were 3 light hours from the nearest Catherine patrol route. 3 hours for a distress signal to reach anyone who might help. 3 hours for help to arrive. They did not have 3 hours. The gas giant would claim them in 90 minutes, maybe less. I'm sending a distress call, Tyler said. Maybe someone will hear it. What if the wrong people hear it? Sierra's voice was small, frightened. Then we're no worse off than we are now. Tyler activated the emergency beacon and broadcast on all frequencies. A simple message repeating over and over, "This is civilian transport in distress. Ship disabled. Requesting immediate assistance." He included their coordinates and situation. Then they waited. 15 minutes passed. The gas giant grew larger in the view screen. Tyler could see storms raging across its surface, bands of orange and red clouds swirling in patterns bigger than entire planets. Beautiful and deadly. The communications panel beeped. Someone was answering their distress call. Tyler felt a brief moment of hope. Then he saw the signatures on the scanner. 3 ships dropping out of hyperspace. Fast attack vessels. Military-grade weapons. Not rescue ships. Hunter ships. No, Tyler whispered. The lead ship hailed them. Tyler accepted the call. A Zenti face appeared on the screen, scales covering most of his features. Cold eyes stared at Tyler with contempt. "I am Corin," the Zenti said. "You have something that belongs to me." Sierra made a small sound of fear. She recognized the name. This was the leader of the smuggling ring. The one who had taken her from her home. The one she had nightmares about. "She doesn't belong to anyone," Tyler said. "She's a child, not cargo." Corin smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Surrender the girl and I will let you die quickly. Refuse and I will make you suffer for weeks before you beg me to end it." Tyler looked at Sierra. She was shaking, terrified, but she met his eyes. She trusted him. Even now, even facing the monster who had stolen her life, she believed Tyler would protect her. "I have a better offer," Tyler said, turning back to the screen. "You leave now, and I don't send all your operations data to every law enforcement agency in the sector." Corin's smile vanished. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" "I pulled everything from this ship's computers before we left Port Helon. Names, locations, financial records, client lists. Everything. It's all packaged up and ready to transmit. One command from me and your entire organization collapses." It was a bluff. Tyler had the data, but he had not prepared any transmissions. With the ship's power dead, he could not send anything even if he wanted to. But Corin did not know that. The Zenti's eyes narrowed. "If you had sent it, you would have already. You're trying to buy time." "Maybe. Or maybe I'm waiting to see if you're smart enough to walk away." Corin's laugh was ugly, harsh. "You humans? So arrogant. You think you can bargain from a position of weakness. Your ship is dead. You're falling into a gas giant. You have nothing." "I have her," Tyler said. "And you want her alive. So yeah, I have something." There was a long silence. Tyler could see Corin thinking, calculating. Then the Zenti's expression hardened. "Kill them," Corin ordered. "Disable the ship and retrieve the girl from the wreckage." The 3 hunter ships opened fire. Tyler grabbed the controls even though he knew it was useless. The ship had no power. No shields. No engines. They were sitting targets. The first blast hit the port side. The ship spun violently. Alarms screamed. The second blast tore through the cargo hold, venting atmosphere into space. Tyler heard metal screaming as the hull buckled. "Hold on." Tyler shouted to Sierra. He did the only thing he could think of. He diverted every bit of remaining emergency power to the maneuvering thrusters. Just tiny bursts of thrust, meant for docking adjustments. But it was something. Tyler fired the thrusters in a random pattern, making the ship tumble and spin unpredictably. It made them harder to hit. But it also pushed them faster toward the gas giant. The hunter ships followed, firing continuously. Tyler dodged what he could, took hits when he could not. The ship was breaking apart around them. Pieces of hull tore free and spun away into space. The cockpit window cracked. Emergency seals deployed, but Tyler knew they would not hold long. They were falling now, really falling. The gas giant's gravity had them. Tyler could feel it pulling at the ship, dragging them down into those swirling clouds. An idea formed in his mind. A terrible, desperate idea. "Sierra, get to the emergency pod," Tyler said. "What?" "No. Do it. Now." "Not without you." Tyler looked at the gas giant filling the view screen. The hunter ships were right behind them, confident now that their prey was trapped. They were moving in close for the kill, getting ready to disable the ship completely and board it. They did not understand what Tyler was about to do. They did not know what humans could survive. "If we both get in the pod, they'll just catch us," Tyler said. But if I dive into the atmosphere, if I go deep enough, fast enough, you'll die. Maybe. Or maybe I'll use the gravity to slingshot back out. Either way they'll follow me, not you. The pod has enough fuel to reach the Kethrin patrol route. You'll be safe. Sira was crying now. You promised? You promised to get me home. And you're almost there. Just a few more hours and you'll see your family. Tell them. Tyler's voice caught. Tell them a stupid human kept his promise. He did not give her time to argue. He activated the emergency pod ejection sequence. Sira screamed as the pod separated from the dying ship, its small thruster carrying her away from the battle. Two of the hunter ships immediately broke off to pursue the pod. But Corin's ship stayed with Tyler. Brave and stupid, Corin's voice came over the damaged comm system. I'll make sure your death is remembered, human. Tyler smiled grimly. He pointed the ship's nose directly at the gas giant and used the last of his maneuvering thrust to accelerate. The ship plunged into the orange clouds like a falling star. The pressure hit immediately. The hull groaned and buckled. Tyler's ears popped. His vision blurred as G-forces crushed him into the seat. But humans evolved on a heavy world. Humans could take pressure that would kill most species. Behind him, he heard Corin's ship following. The Zenti was determined to finish this personally. Tyler dove deeper. The clouds were thick now, blocking all view of space above. The ship's hull was glowing red from friction heat. Pressure warnings screamed from every sensor. Deeper. Faster. Tyler could barely breathe. Every breath felt like lifting weights. His vision tunneled. Blood vessels burst in his eyes. But he kept his hands on the controls. Corin's ship was struggling. Tyler could hear it over the comm, the Zenti gasping, choking. The high-G environment was killing him. Tyler pulled back on the controls, using the gas giant's immense gravity to curve his trajectory. He was trying to slingshot around the planet, use its gravity to fling himself back into space. It was the kind of maneuver that required perfect timing and working engines. Tyler had neither. The ship's structure was failing. Pieces of hull tore away in the screaming wind. The cockpit window shattered. Tyler's flight suit auto-sealed, keeping him alive in the thin, poisonous atmosphere. His ribs felt like they were cracking from the pressure. Through his fading vision he saw Corin's ship. It was breaking apart, unable to handle the forces. The hunter vessel exploded in a ball of fire that was quickly swallowed by the orange clouds. Tyler's ship was still falling. He had failed. The slingshot maneuver was not working. He did not have enough speed, enough angle. He was going to die in this crushing hell. Then something grabbed the ship. Something pulled. Tyler's failing sensors showed another vessel, high above in clearer atmosphere. A ship with Kethrin markings. A patrol ship. They had caught him with a tractor beam. They were pulling him up out of the death spiral. Tyler's last conscious thought was that he had kept his promise after all. Sira would make it home. Then the darkness took him and he knew nothing more. Tyler woke to the smell of clean air and soft light. For a moment he did not know where he was. Everything was white and quiet. Nothing hurt. After weeks of pain and fear and struggling to survive, the absence of suffering felt strange. He tried to sit up. A gentle hand pressed him back down. Rest, human, a voice said. You have been through much. Tyler's vision focused. He was in a medical bay. Advanced equipment surrounded his bed, the kind he had only seen in expensive facilities. A Kethrin doctor stood beside him, her feline features showing concern. Where am I? Tyler's voice was rough, barely working. Kethrin Prime. The capital world. You have been unconscious for 3 days. 3 days. Tyler's mind started working through the fog. The gas giant. The diving maneuver. Corin's ship exploding. Then being pulled up by the patrol vessel. Sira, he said suddenly, trying to sit up again. Where is she? Is she safe? The doctor smiled. She is with her family. She has been here every day waiting for you to wake. She refused to leave until we promised to call her the moment you opened your eyes. Relief flooded through Tyler so powerfully it made him dizzy. She was safe. She was home. He had kept his promise. The door opened and Sira rushed in. She was wearing clean clothes now, her fur groomed, looking healthy and cared for. But her eyes were the same, full of the same fierce determination he had come to know. Tyler. She ran to his bedside and grabbed his hand. You're awake. The doctor said you might not wake up. They said the G-forces should have killed you. But I told them humans are stubborn. Tyler laughed, which hurt his chest. Yeah. Stubborn is one word for it. Behind Sira, 2 more Kethrins entered the room. They were older, dressed in formal clothing that spoke of wealth and status. The male had the same eye color as Sierra. The female had the same pattern of markings on her face. "Mr. Grant," the male said, his voice thick with emotion. "I am Kelver. This is my wife Thessa. We are Sierra's parents." Tyler tried to sit up properly this time. The doctor helped him, adjusting the bed so he could face them. "I'm sorry I took so long to get her home. The ship kept breaking down and—" "You saved our daughter's life," Thessa interrupted. Her eyes were wet with tears. "You risked everything for a child you did not know. We can never repay such a debt." "I don't want repayment," Tyler said. "I just wanted to get her home safe." Kelver stepped forward. "Nevertheless, you will be rewarded. We are members of the Catherine High Council. Our family has considerable resources. Name your price. Anything you want, it is yours." Tyler looked at Sierra, who was still holding his hand. "I already got what I wanted. She's home." Over the next few days, as Tyler recovered, the full story emerged. The Catherine Patrol had intercepted Sierra's emergency pod and heard her story. They had tracked Tyler's desperate dive into the gas giant and barely managed to pull him out before the ship disintegrated. The other 2 hunter ships had been destroyed trying to pursue Sierra, crashing into each other in their greed to claim the bounty. But that was not all. The data Tyler had copied from the smuggling ship had automatically transmitted when the Catherine Patrol connected to his ship's computers. Every file, every record, every piece of evidence had been sent to Catherine authorities. The impact was immediate and devastating to the smuggling ring. Catherine forces raided locations across 6 star systems. They arrested 43 smugglers, including several corrupt officials who had been helping the operation. Most importantly, they freed 28 children who were still in captivity. Tyler sat in the hospital room, watching news reports about the rescued children on the view screen. Families reunited. Children who had given up hope seeing their parents again. It was because of the data he had stolen. Because he had refused to just walk away. "You're a hero," Sierra said, sitting beside his bed. "Everyone is talking about the brave human who took on an entire smuggling ring to save one child." "I'm not a hero," Tyler said. "I'm just a freight hauler who made the right choice for once." That's what heroes are. People who make the right choice when it's hard. A week later, Tyler was well enough to leave the hospital. Kelver and Thessa insisted he stay with their family while he recovered fully. Their home was enormous, a compound in the capital city with gardens and staff and luxuries Tyler had never imagined. It made him uncomfortable. He was used to small spaces and fixing his own meals. But Sierra was happy, and watching her play in the gardens with her younger siblings made the discomfort worthwhile. One evening, Kelver invited Tyler to his study. The room was filled with books and artifacts from across the galaxy. Kelver poured 2 glasses of something amber and handed one to Tyler. "I want to offer you a position," Kelver said. "We need someone to oversee a new initiative. A foundation dedicated to rescuing trafficked children and helping them recover. You would have unlimited resources, a salary that would make you wealthy, and the full support of the Catherine government." Tyler sipped the drink. It burned pleasantly. "That's generous. But I'm not really the type for office work and managing people." "Then perhaps something else. A ship. A new ship, top of the line with a crew of your choosing. You could continue hauling freight if that's what makes you happy. Or you could use it to help other children like Sierra. Your choice." Tyler thought about it. A new ship. A real ship, not some broken wreck held together with hope and spare parts. He could go back to the life he knew. Make honest runs, pay his bills, stay out of trouble. But he kept thinking about those news reports. About the children still out there, still trapped, still hoping someone would care enough to find them. "I'll take the ship," Tyler said finally. "But not for freight hauling. Use it for your foundation. Let me help find the kids who are still missing. I'm not good at much, but I'm stubborn. And sometimes that's enough." Kelver smiled. "You continue to surprise me, Tyler Grant. Most beings would take the wealth and comfort. You choose the harder path. Someone wise once told me that's what heroes do." The ship was beautiful. A brand new Catherine courier vessel, fast and well armed, with medical facilities and comfortable quarters for rescued children. They named it Promise Keeper at Sierra's insistence. Tyler spent 2 months learning the systems and assembling a small crew. People who believed in the mission. People who had their own reasons for wanting to fight trafficking and exploitation. The day he was scheduled to leave, Sierra came to the spaceport with her family. She had grown in the months since Tyler had found her. Stronger. More confident. But her eyes still held that same fierce determination. "I wish I could come with you," she said. "You've got school. Family. A life here. That's what we fought for, remember? Will you visit?" When I can. And you can call me anytime. I set up a direct calm line. Sarah hugged him tight. Thank you for not giving up on me. Tyler hugged her back. Thank you for teaching me what I was capable of. Kelver stepped forward and handed Tyler a data chip. Coordinates and information on 3 children reported missing in the past month. Your first mission if you choose to accept it. Tyler took the chip. I accept. He boarded the Promise Keeper and settled into the captain's chair. It felt right. Not the same as his old freight hauler, but right in a different way. This time he was not running from debts or struggling to survive. This time he had a purpose. The ship lifted smoothly from the spaceport. Tyler set course for the first coordinates on the data chip. A colony on the edge of civilized space where a young Taurasian boy had vanished 3 weeks ago. As the stars stretched into hyperspace, Tyler thought about how much had changed. He had come to Port Helion looking for a cheap ship and a fresh start. Instead he found something more important. He found out that one person could make a difference. That refusing to give up mattered. That sometimes the most human thing you could do was care about someone else's suffering. Word spread quickly through the underground networks. There was a human in a fast ship who hunted traffickers. Who never stopped looking once he started. Who had beaten impossible odds before and would do it again. Some called him foolish. Some called him dangerous. Some called him a hero. Tyler did not care what they called him. He just kept his promises. One child at a time. One rescue at a time. One impossible mission after another. Because that was what humans did. They saw someone who needed help and they helped. Even when it was hard. Even when it was dangerous. Even when everyone else said it was impossible. Tyler Grant had learned that lesson from a scared child in a hidden compartment. And he would spend the rest of his life proving it was true. The Promise Keeper flew on through the stars, carrying hope to the hopeless. And somewhere behind him, on Kethrin Prime, a little girl looked up at the night sky and smiled, knowing that somewhere out there, someone was keeping his promises. Just like he always would.